trying not to let this hurt, like this whole experience of her moving, put her into a place.
Kody Brown's blame game and the delusion of a perfect father. You know what's absolutely wild? The idea that Kody Brown, the man who's been abandoning emotional responsibilities faster than TLC, can roll out a new season now wants everyone to believe that his daughters don't speak to him because of their husbands. That's right. Instead of ever facing his own failures as a father, he's conveniently shifting the blame to his sons-in-law, claiming that they somehow turned his daughters against him. Classic Kody move. And what's worse, he's not even subtle about it. According to Mykelti, this theory is starting to make rounds because, well, it fits perfectly with Kody's pattern: never accept fault, always play the victim, and twist every narrative, until he looks like the misunderstood patriarch who just wanted the best for his family. Please, this is the same man who spent years prioritizing control over compassion and ego over empathy. Think about it. Why would Kody ever blame himself when it's so much easier to paint everyone else as disloyal, brainwashed, or disrespectful? Mykelti's insight actually exposes the deeper psychology of this man. He doesn't just deflect accountability, he rewrites reality. When his daughters pull away, he doesn't see it as a consequence of years of neglect or emotional manipulation. He sees it as betrayal, influenced by outside forces, men who stole his daughter's loyalty. He's still mentally living in that polygamist, patriarchal mindset where women are possessions and any change in their allegiance is seen as treason. That's why this bizarre protectiveness he suddenly performs, especially with Aurora's boyfriends, feels fake. It's not fatherly love. It's control dressed up as concern. He's using "I'm being protective" as camouflage for "I need to maintain power." And that's exactly what played out when he confronted Aurora's boyfriend. What the world saw as an awkward father-daughter moment was actually Kody's latest chess move in a long pattern of psychological manipulation. He's pretending to be the vigilant dad, but underneath, it's about asserting dominance. Because deep down, Kody's terrified not of losing his daughter's innocence, but of losing his influence. He wants to make sure that this new man doesn't become another enemy who might open Aurora's eyes to how toxic and controlling her father really is. It's almost tragic, almost if it weren't so absurdly. And here's where it gets even more delusional. In the upcoming episode, Kody claims that a random woman emailed him. First, to scold him for abandoning plural marriage, and then within the same email proposed marriage to him. You can't make this stuff up. Imagine someone saying, "You're a disgrace to the faith. Repent also. Marry me." It's comical. But Kody retells this story with the seriousness of a prophet, as if it's divine proof that he's still desired by women who value polygamy. It's all part of his performative fantasy world where he's still the central figure of spiritual and romantic power. The irony is almost poetic. He claims to have moved on from polygamy, yet he won't stop bringing it up. Why? Because it's the only identity he ever had that made him feel powerful. Without it, he's just a bitter man clinging to a crumbling self-image. Tony and Mykelti nailed it when they pointed out that Kody's obsession with polygamy isn't about faith. It's about control and ego maintenance. He toys with the idea of multiple wives because it gives him leverage over Robyn. He knows that. Robyn still romanticizes the idea of spiritual plural marriage, and he manipulates that belief to keep her from walking away. He dangles polygamy like bait. Maybe someday we'll do it again, because it's the one thing that keeps her emotionally tied to him. And Robyn, who once claimed she wanted sisterhood and shared faith, is now trapped in the nightmare she built. She wanted controlled chaos where she was the favorite wife, not the only wife. She wanted the title, not the reality. But now that she has to deal with Kody 24/7, she's realizing the painful truth: being the last wife standing isn't romantic. It's suffocating. The tragic comedy of it all is that both Kody and Robyn are trapped in their own manipulative cycle. Robyn infantilizes her children to keep Kody interested, knowing he only bonds with innocent dependents, not independent adults. Meanwhile, Kody performs fake loyalty to polygamy to keep Robyn from leaving, fearing that if she reconnects with her church roots, She realized she's allowed Devon expected to remarry within her faith. He knows if she goes back to the church elders, they might tell her outright, Kody has failed his covenant. You deserve a husband who will guide you into the celestial kingdom. That thought terrifies him, because losing Robyn wouldn't just mean losing his last wife, it would mean total ego collapse. So he keeps up the charade. She keeps up the submission. Together, they pretend they're soulmates, while their entire relationship functions like a hostage situation wrapped in a TLC storyline. The more you peel back the layers, the clearer it becomes. Kody's marriage is not built on love or spirituality, it's built on fear and performance. The man who once boasted about divine callings now scripts fake storylines just to keep his face on TV. The protective father act, the devout husband narrative, even the faithful polygamist image, they're all masks for a desperate man whose family, faith, and followers have seen through him. And if there's one thing this proves beyond any doubt, it's that Kody Brown's downfall isn't a mystery. It's a consequence. Every controlling comment, every manipulative speech, every stage storyline has been leading to this moment, where even his daughters, the ones who grew up believing he was the ideal father, now see the truth. They see the hypocrisy. They see that the man who preached family unity is the same one who destroyed it from within. And the saddest part? He still doesn't get it. He'll keep pointing fingers, keep blaming Tony Mykelti and every other man who dares to love his daughters with respect. Because in Kody's world, a woman who thinks for herself must have been turned. The only thing more fragile than his faith is his pride. His faith is his pride. The illusion of love, Kody and Robyn's toxic game of faith, fear, and control. Let's get one thing straight. Kody Brown and Robyn Brown are not soulmates. They're co-conspirators in emotional chaos. What they call eternal love is really an unholy partnership powered by guilt, dependency, and manipulation. Every time Kody brings up spiritual callings or sacred covenants, what he really means is control. Control over Robyn's fears, over his children's obedience, and over a crumbling image that he refuses to admit is dead. And Robyn, she's not the innocent victim she pretends to be. She's the architect of her own emotional kingdom. A woman who built her power by crying at the right moments, playing helpless just enough to make Kody feel needed, and weaponizing religion to stay untouchable. Together, it's good, they are the perfect storm. One delusional man clinging to patriarchy, and one calculating woman using fragility as armor. When you strip away the TV edits and the rehearsed tears, what's left is a deeply strategic relationship. Kody plays protector, Robyn plays damsel, and both feed off the illusion that this performance equals love. The truth, it's a transaction. Kody gives Robyn emotional validation and financial security. Robyn gives Kody blind loyalty and a reason to feel like he still matters. Every move they make is a trade, affection for obedience, faith for submission, guilt for control. Even their arguments follow a script. When Kody feels his authority slipping, he brings up polygamy to remind Robyn of her faith obligations. When Robyn senses Kody pulling away, she cries, invokes God, and forces him into savior mode. It's a spiritual chess match disguised as a marriage. And the irony is almost biblical. Kody, who once condemned jealousy as a sin among his wives, now thrives on it. He baits Robyn with imaginary women, acts like he's being tempted by proposals, and pretends that he's still spiritually valuable enough for others to want him. He wants her insecure because insecurity keeps her loyal. It's manipulation 101. Make your partner fear losing you so they never question you. But it goes deeper than that. Kody doesn't just want obedience from Robyn. He wants worship. He's turned himself into the false prophet of his own family, preaching submission while demanding applause. And Robyn, instead of running, feeds the illusion. Because without Kody's identity, hers collapses too. Her power only exists as long as she's the chosen one. She spent years painting herself as the righteous victim among fallen sister wives, telling the world she just wanted peace while quietly positioning herself as the only wife left standing. But now that the curtain's been pulled back, her peace looks more like paranoia. She's the queen of a crumbling kingdom, clinging to the man who promised her celestial glory but gave her nothing but chaos and cameras. She wanted the prestige of plural marriage without the pain of sharing. And now that she has neither, no sisterhood, no spiritual unity, no admiration from fans, all that's left is isolation. What's even darker is how both of them use the show as therapy instead of actually going to therapy. Every episode is their chance to rebrand. Kody uses his confessionals to rewrite history, framing every betrayal as a misunderstanding. Robyn uses hers to cry about being misunderstood, conveniently forgetting the trail of broken relationships behind her. Together, they manipulate not just each other, but the audience. They've turned their dysfunction into content, a business built on pain, pity, and control. And while fans once bought into the soulmate fairy tale, now they're watching the slow-motion collapse of two people who can't exist without conflict. But let's not ignore the collateral damage: the kids. Robyn keeps her children in a constant state of arrested development because it keeps Kody attached. The younger they act, the more needed he feels. She infantilizes them emotionally, so they'll always be dependent on her approval and his presence. Kody, on the other hand, doesn't even hide his favoritism anymore. His love is conditional, given freely to those who feed his ego and withheld from those who challenge it. That's why his youngest daughters get the affection and his older kids get the cold shoulder. The moment they form their own opinions, he cuts them off. Independence feels like betrayal to a man who defines fatherhood by control. And then there's Aurora, the perfect example of how Kody's outdated views about women still shape everything. He calls himself a protective father, but what he's really doing is reasserting ownership. When he tells Aurora's boyfriend that kissing her is like kissing another man's wife, it's not love, it's entitlement. It's the same archaic thinking that's been poisoning his relationships for decades. He still sees women as extensions of men, first their fathers, then their husbands. He can't comprehend that his daughters belong to themselves. That's why Mykelti and Tony's reaction hits so hard. They didn't just disagree, they exposed how warped his worldview really is. Mykelti's evolution is one of the few bright spots in this entire mess. She's not the naive daughter who once excused her dad's behavior. She's grown into a woman who sees through the manipulation, and she's not afraid to call it out. When she said the only person anyone belongs to is themselves. It wasn't just a clapback, it was a direct rejection of everything Kody stands for. And Tony, he nailed it when he said Kody needs to reevaluate his assumptions. Because that's exactly what Kody refuses to do. He clings to the same outdated doctrines that justify his ego and mask his failures. Every time he talks about purity, authority, or family order, what he's really talking about is control. Who gets it, who loses it, and how to keep it, no matter how much damage it causes. But the most disturbing part is how self-aware Kody actually is. Deep down, he knows his empire is collapsing. That's why he keeps manufacturing storylines, anything to stay relevant, anything to keep the narrative alive. The mystery email from a woman proposing marriage after insulting him. That's not divine intervention. It's desperate improvisation. The fake protectiveness over Aurora's boyfriend. Manufactured drama. The endless talk about repentance and faith. A smokescreen for guilt. It's all theater. Kody's not living in reality anymore. He's living in a script he's written for himself. And Robyn plays along because she has to. Her survival depends on keeping the illusion alive. Without the show, without the title of Kody's wife, she's just another ex in a long line of broken promises. That's why she tolerates the gaslighting, the emotional distance, the chaos, because leaving would mean admitting it was never love to begin with. And that's a truth too painful for her to face. So she doubles down. She keeps the kids dependent, keeps the tears flowing. Keeps pretending that being Kody's last wife is some divine honor instead of a lonely sentence. Meanwhile, Kody keeps performing righteousness while living hypocrisy. He lectures his kids about morality while neglecting them emotionally. He blames his ex-wives for disrespect while being the most disrespectful of them all. He claims to value faith while using it as a tool for control. Every time he opens his mouth about the celestial kingdom, it's just code for "I refuse to lose." The man who once said his family was built on love now treats it like a battleground, measuring loyalty by obedience and affection by usefulness. What makes it all so painfully obvious is how different his relationship with Truly is compared to Robyn's kids. Mykelti pointed out what fans have seen for years. Kody only prioritizes the children who serve his ego. Truly, who represents Christine's independence, is a reminder of everything Kody lost. Robyn's daughters, on the other hand, are symbols of everything he can still control. It's favoritism at its most transparent, spiritual manipulation disguised as paternal care. And Robyn enables it, because it keeps her relevant. Their marriage isn't a partnership. It's a hostage exchange. She keeps him from total isolation. He keeps her from spiritual exile. They're both terrified not of losing each other, but of what happens when the illusion finally dies. Because when it does, Kody will have to face the truth that he's no prophet, no patriarch, and no hero. And Robyn will have to face the truth that she didn't win. She inherited the wreckage. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one dysfunctional couple on a reality show. It's about the slow death of a delusion. Kody and Robyn built their world on half-truths and holy excuses, and now they're living in the ruins of their own creation. Every episode, every interview, every public statement is another brick in the wall of denial. They call it faith, they call it love, but the rest of us can see it for what it really is. Fear, pride, and manipulation, wearing spiritual masks. And that's the cruel beauty of reality TV. Eventually, reality always wins. The cameras don't lie forever. The tears start to look rehearsed, the excuses start to sound recycled, and even the most loyal fans begin to see the cracks. Kody and Robyn may think they're controlling the story, but the story has already turned on them. What they built for fame has become their cage, and the world is watching as the walls close in. And the world is watching as the walls close in. The breaking point that changed everything. And then came the breaking point, the moment when the perfect storm that had been brewing for years finally exploded in full view of the world. Cameras were rolling, tensions were sky high. And what was once brushed off as just family drama turned into a full-blown emotional war zone. The truth is, what we were watching wasn't just a reality show anymore. It was the slow, painful unraveling of lives that had been built on secrets, half-truths, and the desperate illusion of harmony. Everyone thought they knew this family, but when the cracks became impossible to hide, even the most loyal fans were left stunned by what they saw. Christine had reached a place of no return. Her smile, once so full of patience and quiet strength, was now laced with exhaustion and defiance. For years, she'd played the role of the peacemaker, the nurturer, the one who always tried to hold things together. But something inside her had shifted. The moment Kody's dismissive attitude crossed from indifference to outright cruelty, it was as if a fire ignited inside her. She stopped explaining. She stopped defending. She stopped waiting for an apology that would never come. That's when she looked straight at him and said the words that would echo across social media, fan forums, and news outlets for months. "I'm done being last. I deserve to be happy." That sentence wasn't just a line in a TV episode. It was a revolution. For countless viewers, Christine's declaration became symbolic of every woman who had ever felt small, ignored, or trapped in a situation where her needs were treated as secondary. The internet erupted. Hashtags like #TeamChristine and #FreedomBrown trended worldwide. Comment sections filled with people sharing their own stories of walking away from toxic relationships.